Hi, my name is Silvia, and I'm very happy that today you're here with me to chat about knits. So, today I wanted to show you some inks and skeins that I bought for specific projects, but that have been sitting for quite a while in my stash. So I wanted to show them to you, maybe as a little way to push myself to commit to do those projects, or maybe to say once and for good that they're not gonna happen and that yarn can be reassigned. But before I show you my stash, I wanted to ask you, which kind of buyer or yarn collector are you? Do you prefer to buy yarn for specific projects? Like you see the project first, you envision it in your mind, and then you go buy the yarn? Or you prefer to just buy yarn that you find beautiful and that you're drawn to, and then afterwards find the right project for it? I guess I'm a bit of both. Sometimes I see wonderful projects and then I go buy some yarn specifically for that. And some other times I would just buy yarn because as of recently I've decided I just want to use 100% natural fibers. So I don't want to use anything that includes synthetics and plastics, because microplastics and plastic pollution, it's a super big issue I feel very strongly about. So I decided not to use anything that contains plastic. Truth be told, in the yarn that I will be showing you today, some have quite a high amount of acrylic, and I'm gonna use them because I bought them, they've been produced, so I feel it would be even less good not to use them now that I bought them. But I've decided not to do that anymore. And as you maybe know, like fully sustainable fibers have, rightfully so, a much higher cost. So sometimes I would see like a promotion that I just cannot resist, and I would buy them, and then I know anyway afterwards I will find a good project for them. So let's get started. And let's call to appearance my first three hanks, skeins of yarn. So this, oh my god, I just cannot resist a huge ball of yarn, especially if this lighting is very soft white and with mohair. I developed a sort of obsession for mohair. It's not even a high amount of mohair in here, but already super fluffy. So I bought this one with no specific project in mind. But then when I saw these two balls, and they were both end of production, so I cannot get hold of more of these. But then I thought these would pair very nicely together, and maybe I wanted to use this very colorful yarn to make the neckline and the cuffins for a all white and fluffy.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
Sweater. Or maybe do the same or something a little bit different. I have a bit of a special design in my mind with this golden yarn. I think they also pair beautifully together. So nothing has happened yet, even though they've been sitting for quite a while into my stash. But because they are to be used for a design of my own, so I knew it was gonna take some more time, and I'm very fine with it. When I feel ready to start with it, I will definitely get to that. but I don't feel like putting a date on it yet. So let's make the yarn disappear. And then to stash the yarn, lot number 2. Here it is. So these are like only the 4 colors that I wanted to show to you. I have more hangs of this yarn. I like this one, the speckled one, very much. And I've chosen them as a combination to knit one of my shawls. And this is gonna be for, I believe, Ora, a design from Caitlin Hunter. I like it very much because it looks like it's gonna be very full and heavy and warm. Really something you're gonna reach for when you need to be wrapped into something warm. And these are the color I have chosen. I've chosen them a very long time ago, so now I don't really see anymore how they were gonna turn out in the show, but surprise, it's gonna be fun. And I am definitely gonna commit to this project because, as I said last week, I am craving shawls. I need more shawls in my life. So I have another pattern that I showed you last week, for which I already have the yarn since quite a while, and I want to knit this one as well. So it turns out already that I will probably not make my Make 9 in its entirety because there are so many other projects coming up. But I knew that. That's totally fine. So, next one. Let's call in the yarn for my second shawl. So this shawl is gonna call for only 3 colors. Truth be told, now that I see them together like this, I'm not very convinced about them. I'm not sure that I like them all that much. But I know that I spent quite some time in choosing the colors when I had when I was looking at the pattern. So I'm confident that in the end they will look very good together because I thought at the time they were definitely appropriate. And this, as you can see, maybe is also a bit of a fluffy yarn. You can see its halo. I don't know if it's very appropriate for this shawl because it has a kind of a lace pattern, maybe like a crisp yarn would have given better result. But when I bought the yarn, I really just started knitting, so there were many things I didn't know, many things I couldn't even picture in my head. But I'm just gonna give it a try and we'll see how that turns out. So, yes, I am committing also to this shawl. Now, let's make all of the shawl yarn disappear. And now, for this, I have to be ready because this is a lot of yarn that it's gonna come my way. Wait for it. Okay, so here it is. This is a whole lot of sock yarn that I had bought. You see, there are many different things. I have colors. I have this. There is gonna be self-striping. I got it in 2 colors. And there are still more all around the house. I had bought all of these. for Christmas presents. So as you can see, all of the yarn is still sitting rapidly tightly wrapped in their own label. So yeah, Christmas presents socks didn't happen, but here is the thing. So maybe I mentioned that before. I'm Italian and I live in Belgium. And normally I used to get home 3 times a year. I would go for Christmas, Easter, and in the summer. This Christmas I didn't manage to go because we're buying a house. So there were many things we needed to do, visits, appointments, bureaucracy. So I couldn't manage, which, as I said, was very sad, but also gave me a bonus on my gift knitting. So I'm gonna go home for Easter, which is gonna be on the 17th of April, I believe. So I told myself that I am gonna be knitting all of these socks by Easter. I get a 3-month bonus, and that is gonna happen. So let me show you. I would like to show you. I had started. Um, I had started with my socks, and here's what I did. Since I didn't have, oh, now I didn't take it. I didn't have needles that were small enough for my yarn. So, normally sock yarn calls for, let's say, generically 2.5 millimeter, which I didn't have. The smallest needles I have are 3,5. So what I did was take a whole bunch of skewers, and then with sandpaper I really smoothed the edge. To this one I didn't do that, but to others I did the double point, and I started knitting my socks. So I'm very proud because I felt very crafty in this. And truth be told, I kind of feel like petting myself on the back because look how cute this was coming. And I feel like the size was perfect. I love this fabric so much, how it was coming together. The ribbon was like super elastic, the sock as well. I think this could have been a good job in the end. Thing is that, let me tell you, as crafty as it is, as proud as I am about this, skeins are not the thing you want to knit with. Because even though I did use sandpaper all over, I tried to make them as smooth as I could. Every time I would pass my yarn over, I would feel that there was friction, and that was giving me so many concerns about my yarn, about the fact that I might be ruining it before time. And then at certain point, one of my needles / skewers snapped. So I had all of these splinters, like, and stitches fell out, and then I tried to keep it together. Well, not to keep it together, like to stop it. But of course I didn't have a needle stopper because this is not a needle. So I used an elastic band, but then it was not double pointed anymore. A whole mess. So just to tell you that this, as cute as I find it, took me, how long did it took me? A month to do this. So I was planning to make 4 pair of socks, 8 socks in total. I don't know, maybe Christmas 2023. So what I did was giving up on the skewers project. I redid my gauge, my stitch count, and everything for my 3.5 millimeters needles. And look at this. I did this in like a few hours. I know many people probably in a few hours would have whipped like a whole sock, but look at this. Oh, this is going so much better. I'm a bit concerned because I think I see in the fabric that the needles are too big for my yarn. Like, then I'm afraid that it's gonna get consumed and worn out much faster. Maybe not. Do you have any experience with this? Have you ever knitted socks with needles that were bigger than what the yarn called for? If you did, I would be very, very curious to know how it went for you, and I would be very grateful if you could share your experience with me. I'm gonna go on anyway. One might also ask, why can't you buy a pair of 2.5 needles? Which is a very fair question. I just feel I've been investing so much money in my knitting lately that I would really like to try and work with the things I have. Also, because if I have to be super honest, I don't feel very thrilled about socks. So, like when I think about sweaters, I get very excited and I get all of these ideas. I want to design things on my own, and I really can't wait for them to be ready to wear. Socks don't give me really the same shock of energy. So I want to be careful in investing for things that I'm pretty sure I would be using for socks only. So we'll see how it goes. But for example, if you tell me I did it and they worn out pretty fast, then I might be looking specifically into reinforcing the heel and the toes, which I might not do otherwise because, as we said, I'm slow and I'm on a time commitment here. I already got a 3-month bonus. I'm not gonna push it any further. So, topic socks closed. We can move on. And last but not least, look how gorgeous this is. I can't get over how beautiful this thing is. I love that it's huge. I love that it's thick. I love its color. I'm a huge fan of gray. And I like that this one has so many different shades. And the smell, it's so good. This is 100% wool from We Are Knitters. I like it very much, and I bought this specifically to knit Luminen, this sweater from Sari Nordlund. I was very, very excited at the beginning, and then I started. I cast on my sweater, and then what happened is that I had a few problems with a raglan yoke making the sleeves. I think it was mainly my fault because I didn't have proper stitch markers. I was not really familiar with the dynamic of a raglan sweater yet. So I made a whole mess for like 5 times, I think. My yarn was starting to get very frustrated as well by the whole knitting and unraveling. So I threw a tantrum. I unraveled it for the last time and I put my yarn away. So I feel I have been a bit scarred by this experience, and my enthusiasm for knitting Luminen has kind of faded away. I'm waiting a little bit to see if I'm gonna feel the call for that sweater again. I'm not sure it's gonna happen. We'll see. But I definitely want to give it a time because I love this yarn so much, and I literally cannot wait to have a super chunky cropped sweater to wear. And I definitely want to do that before the winter is over. So I think this has to be quite a fast thing. I would say in a month it's gonna be end of January. Hmm. I don't think I'm gonna be wearing my chunky sweater this winter yet. But let's say it like that anyway. A month. I'm gonna give myself until the end of January. And if I haven't cast on the Luminen sweater again, then this yarn will be repurposed for something else that is gonna thrill me with joy at the moment. Good! That was all of the yarn that I bought for specific projects and that was not assigned yet. So I have solidly committed to 2 shawls and a whole lot of socks. Then we have a sweater of my own design that will happen whenever the time is ripe. And this sweater to which I give until the end of January. So at the end of January, we will check in again to see how it went with this. And I'm very curious to know if you have yarn that is lingering there that you bought for a specific project that you didn't start with. If you want to commit with me, do that and we can hold each other accountable. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next week. Bye. And I wanna start that when I'm sure I can do that as take two.